What's going on, everyone, and welcome to the channel. Gears of War E-Day is looking absolutely insane. We've got new weapons, new characters, the gore is back, the atmosphere is dark and gritty, and honestly, it feels like the good old Gears of War that we grew up with. But there's something that's been stuck in my head. Something feels familiar, but also completely different. So lock in, because today we're going to be breaking down every movement change we've seen so far, talking about how this could completely change the future of Gears. But before we do jump in, do not forget to like the video and subscribe if you're enjoying the content here. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and every single one of you helps this community grow. Now, let's get into it. The very first thing I noticed myself is Marcus. He's not wearing that iconic COG armor. He's currently rocking a leather jacket and jeans, and because of that, his movement feels much more grounded. His walk has weight, every step feels heavy, natural, and connected to the environment. Then he breaks in what looks like a jog out of nowhere into a full sprint. I nearly lost my mind. Since the original Gears back in 2006, we had the famous roadie run. One button and you're practically hugging the floor while charging forwards towards the enemy. It looks like it's evolved into a proper sprint. I know some fans are going to miss the old roadie run, but a lot of us have spent nearly 20 years mastering that movement. This change could completely transform firefights. If you're sprinting instead of hiding your head against the ground, you're exposing yourself, you're vulnerable to well-placed shots, timing and positioning suddenly become even more important. And I actually think this is a brilliant evolution. It keeps the DNA of Gears but makes combat feel more realistic, tactical and competitive. Now let's talk about cover. At first glances it looks very similar, but when you really watch the gameplay you notice the details. Marcus slams into cover and then the environment reacts back. Cars shake, objects wobble, the world feels physical. The Coalition have clearly put a large amount of effort into making the environment feel believable. But what's even more interesting is how Marcus adapts to different pieces of cover. There's a moment where Marcus is under heavy fire and dives into a small crater created by Emergence Hole. It's barely knee high, yet he naturally adjusts his body position, crouching low and using one hand to support himself while shuffling around. He's not simply snapping to a wall anymore, gliding into cover. He's reacting to the environment. This could have huge multiplayer implications. Could we see slower, more tactical engagements? Will every inch of cover matter? Personally, I hope so. Something that shocked me to the core: the slide mechanic. Holy shit, this is one of the biggest surprises for me. Marcus goes into a full sprint and suddenly launches himself forward into a slide, and it looks incredible. Games like Call of Duty, Fortnite, even Arc Raiders have shown how movement mechanics can make combat feel dynamic and unpredictable. Now Gears has its own version. Imagine sliding into cover to avoid shotgun blasts, slide under incoming fire, using it to reposition during intense battles on the flanks of your enemy. This one mechanic alone could completely change how fights play out, and I absolutely love it. Verticality. We're going up in the world. Now this is really where things get exciting. Jumping over cover isn't new to Gears of War, but climbing over tall objects, scaling 6-foot shelving, pulling yourself onto vehicles, that's completely different. The amount of vertical movement we've seen is wild. There also seems to be multiple animations depending on what you're climbing, making movement looking fluid and more natural. For multiplayer, this could be game-changing. Players might attack from angles we've never had to think about before, new flanking routes, new escapes, new tactical opportunities. We've all been asking for Gears to evolve. Well, this is the evolution. Marcus actually jumps now. We're talking a jump mechanic. He leaps from one piece of cover to another to flank an unsuspecting locust. Honestly, my brain still hasn't processed it. Could jumping become a huge multiplayer feature? What do you think? Now we're going to talk about cover-to-cover movement. A lot of fans are worried about wall bouncing. Can it still be done? We don't really know yet. And honestly, we're not going to know until the beta. But I do think the Coalition are trying to create something that rewards smarter positioning instead of pure movement exploits. Cover still feels like life. Get caught in the open and you're probably going to pay for it. Next is rolling. We haven't seen loads of combat rolling, but it's definitely still there. The animation feels more natural. Marcus dives, tucks his head and rolls through the movement. It actually looks shorter than before. Maybe that's intentional, perhaps it's no longer meant for closing huge gaps. Maybe it's designed as a defensive mechanic to avoid incoming fire or recovering after an explosion. It's nice to see they're keeping classic mechanics while still modernising them. This leads us on to reviving teammates. We only get a small glimpse of reviving, but one thing stands out: it looks a lot slower. And I actually think that is a good thing. Instant revives always felt a little arcade-like. Imagine having to drag your teammates into cover, imagine holding them shoulder to shoulder while they recover. The whole game seems to be slowing combat down, just enough to make every decision actually matter. I really hope the Coalition lean into that. Now, the city Kelowna is built for this. The Coalition have said that Kelowna is designed around new movement philosophy. Tight streets, destroyed buildings, abandoned vehicles, vertical spaces, different heights, natural cover everywhere. The city itself almost feels like another character. Now, if you want a more in-depth discussion on the city of Kelowna, please do go check out our other video. Now, the final thoughts for me: E-Day isn't trying to replace classic Gears. It's trying to evolve it. The atmosphere is back, the horror is back, the weight of the combat is back, but now we have more choices. Do you slide under cover? Do you climb over it? Do you sprint? Do you jump for the flank? Do you stay low and fight tactically? This feels like the biggest evolution the franchise has ever seen. And if the Coalition can balance all these mechanics while keeping that classic Gears identity, we could be looking at one of the greatest Gears of War games ever made. But that's just my opinion. What movement change are you most excited for? The sprint, the slide, the climbing, the jumping, or are you still hoping wall bouncing returns in full force? Drop your thoughts down below because I read every single comment. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us as we count down to Gears of War E-Day. I'll catch you in the next one.